Hello everyone, my name is Zombie878. Welcome back to a new YouTube video. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to... We're actually going to be doing two tutorials. A tutorial on how to make a selector with a trigger. You aim your trigger in the rangefinder at an item and it will select it. And we're also going to make a tutorial for the new room chip where you can, new CV2 room chip. So let's get started. I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm back. I made our room, and the first thing we're going to want to do is turn on the beta content. Circuit V2 Creative Tools beta content, and save your room. Now that we turned on the CV2 beta content, go to your watch and just type in room. It should bring up all the chips you need. You need a destination room constant, and we need a go-to room. And we're just going to get a button to test this out. So let's type in button. Just put the button right here. Connect the room destination, the destination room constant to the destination, and you want your player to be the one who presses the button, and you want to connect the execute to the press on the button. Now, when I press it, it's going to see that it's me pressing it because I connected the player to the player on the button. And with the destination room constant, configure this. It will have your room name here. You can change your room name if you want. And it's going to have your sub rooms, but since we don't have any sub rooms, I am going to actually change the room name. So I'll change it to my new map that I actually, let's go to my Super Mario 64 map. So I'll type in Super Mario 64 as the name, and it will bring up the sub room in there, and you can have it on any mode you want, ask, invite, party, or whatever, and you can choose the welcome mat. But now that I have it there, if I press this button, now if we press it, we will go to the room. And you can connect the room constant to any room you want. So you can type in any room designation, any welcome mat, anything. So I will meet you back in the room. So first what we want is we just want to place, let's make this a different color so it doesn't blend into the background. I'm going to place one right here. And we're actually going to let go of the maker pen so this becomes a separate object when we copy it. And we're going to copy about 3 of these. We're going to want to change the tags to, I mean, you can have it at 3 different tags, whatever you want, but I'm just going to make it simple, make it 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get an animation gizmo. I want a trigger handle. So let's scroll all the way down here, put down a trigger handle, connect it to our animation gizmo, turn on the animation gizmo. So now whenever we grab the trigger handle, it stays right there whenever I let go of it. Now what we want is the rangefinder. Let's get this further away from the trigger handle. What we want is the rangefinder. So just type in range and it should come up. Gonna turn it this way so that the laser will be right here where the trigger is. And we also want a clamp. So let's get a clamp. Okay, so we're going to connect the top of the clamp to the trigger handle. Well, first we're going to disconnect this from this. Going to put this on top and the trigger on the bottom. Move the trigger. Before we connect the trigger, I'm going to move the trigger up here and connect it to the clamp. And then we're going to select everything and connect it to the animation. Now, when we grab it, it moves the clamp, the rangefinder, and everything connected to it. Now, the rangefinder, when you turn it on, it will show a laser that comes out this side, and it goes as far as you want the so if I want the max range to be, let's say 20, this does this by centimeters, you don't see anything. But if I change this to 100, it's still pretty small because it's centimeters. I can go into here and I can change the distance unit, the meters, the millimeters. I'll change it to meters because meters is longer. And what the rangefinder does is it gets the IDs, so it shows the distance. If there's nothing that it's touching, it's just going to show a -1. The object ID, it will show the object ID of whatever is in there. So let me put let me just put a random object in it. So as you can see, it touches the object and the laser stops on the object. The object ID is going to be 90,006. And every time your room saves or you restore the room, exit, come back, the object ID of everything in your room will change. The player ID is going to be the ID of the player. So this will change to 1 because I'm player ID 1. Now that we have that solved, we're actually going to get the raycast chip. Raycast chip. So type in ray and the raycast chip should show up. Gonna place the raycast right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it so if we pick this up and, oh yeah, before we do that, we want to turn on this to ignore players. And we also want to show the laser when gadgets are hidden. Therefore, we will still see the laser even though we don't got the maker pin. So we are going to make it so it detects these. And when we detect either one of these, it will bring up a message or whatever when we click the trigger handle. So first things first, we want to get a vector. We want to get a vector gadget and place it right above the rangefinder in the direction that it's pointing, and connect this to the top of the clamp. And we're going to connect the vector to the direction in the raycast. Going to change the distance in meters to whatever. But since this is 100 meters, I'm going to change this to 100 meters. The start position is going to be the trigger handle, but we can't do this because we need a vector. So instead of doing that, we're going to get a get position. So type in get PO, it should come up, and it will get the position of the trigger handle. And that is where it will start. So put this into the get position, put this into the start position, and now we want to get a has tag chip. So type in has tag, should come right up. And however many objects we have there, we have 3, so I'm going to place down 3 has tag chips. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to connect the object to each has tag chip. And I'm going to change the tags each object. So this is going to be 1, this is 2, and this is 3, since they have those tags. And what we're going to do is we're going to get an if chip. Go ahead and place down 3 of these, or just copy it. 1, 2, 3. We're going to connect the else's to each of the if chips, and we're going to connect the top if chip to the primary press of the trigger handle. And we're going to connect these to the if chips. So now, if we if we aim at an object, which this is going to say Rec Room object is invalid because we're not aiming at anything right now. But if we were aiming at something, like, for example, let me grab the chip. Now it says maker pin object, and there I'm not aiming at nothing. It's going to say Rec Room object invalid. And it's also going to output your distance too. So now, since this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and we have this connected to the trigger handle, if it detects one of those objects with this tag, this is going to be true. And when this is true and we hit this, we're actually going to make it so it says a message. You can connect this to whatever system you want, but I'll just connect this to show local subtitle to show you that it works. So I'll place down 3 with 3 different messages. Let's say this one says 1, this says 2, and this says 3. We're going to connect this, the top one to the first, the second one to the second, and the third to third. Now, if we try to click this anywhere else, it's not going to say anything when we press the trigger. But if we aim it up here to 1 and press the trigger, it's going to say 1 because it's getting the tag of this, which is 1, and since that's true and I'm pressing the trigger, it's going to say the subtitle. The same with this. Since this has the second tag, it's going to say 2, and since this has a third tag, it's going to say 3. And I will make sure this room is open in case any of you want to check out any of the circuits. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and comment for more videos of this nature. And I will see you in the next video.